Hey, what's going on, guys? Beeflatin here with a brand new video today. Today we're going to be covering the very first build video that I wanted to tackle in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So I'm rolling here with a Spore Warden and Graveborn. It is a companion-based build. It's going to be all Hydras. I'm not using any pixies or anything else. It's a very interesting build on how it works, and I want to do this with as minimum glitches as possible. There's two that I can't control, unfortunately, but the rest I wanted to eliminate completely. The glitches that I'm talking about before I get into the build are the Mushroom Companion glitch. So sometimes in Chaos Chambers, at complete random, there's no way to control it. Sometimes you'll get additional Mushroom Companions on your trials, and it will also stack with a skill in the Graveborn tree called Faithful Thralls. My controller is bugging out. My bad, guys. I gotta fix this stick drift. So the Fate Maker deals increased damage dealt for every companion they have. It will actually stack up with this. And Faithful Thralls is also bugged out by itself, which is bug number 2. This can stack infinitely, and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to have a capacity and cap on it. So those are the two bugs right now. Besides that, everything else that I can control, I did not use. So we'll go ahead and start off on our Mushroom side. I started with Kindred Heart with Companion Health and Companion Damage. This is going to go all into our Hydras, and also our Demi-Lich and Mushroom Companion just for our passives. I do Spore Cloud. The Mushroom Companion will occasionally let one rip, which basically taunts enemies. I do this so that I can take a lot of aggro off of me during high mob situations, or with bosses that have high mob density in it, say like Drill, for example. I have my ability damage that's increased. We'll be coming back to this in just a second, but we have a 35% increase on it. Quiver of Holding, which is just mag size. We're using a bunch of Furior related items, which is the new Tedior. The higher the mag size, the more damage that you have. And your turn equipped weapon regenerates ammo over time, which is very helpful for our potential for more reloads. Medicinal Mushroom, your mushroom can heal you and gains damage over 10 seconds. And finally, Thrill of the Hunt is gun crits, will increase companion damage for a duration. I have it increased by 2 more because of my class mod, but it is maxed out at 3. On our Graveborn tree, we have 2 points into Essence Drain. It is just a way to get down the tree. I use it for a kill skills for a spell cooldown. We'll get back to this in just a second. But the spell that I'm using summons 3 Hydras as a repeating cast spell, so it's very helpful to get that cooldown. We covered Faithful Thralls a little bit already. You do increased damage for every companion you have. It does stack infinitely. I have 2 more points in here for my class mod. 3 points in Harvest. Companions deal bonus dark magic damage over time, and it stacks. I put 4 points into Dark Pact because that's all the points I have for what I need for this build. Dark magic damage is increased. Stain of the Soul is a huge one for this build as well. Fate Maker's spells deal bonus dark magic damage. We'll get back to this skill in just a second as well. We have Dark Hydras. Kill skills, you have a chance to summon a Dark Hydra companion dealing dark magic ability damage to nearby enemies, which works with Affinity. We have 1 extra point in here from our class mod as well. And then we go all the way down to Blast Gasp. Now, Blast Gasp is where most of our damage is coming from. Whenever the Fate Maker deals spell damage, there's a chance it will create an elemental explosion, dealing ability damage of the spell's elemental type to nearby enemies. That's a mouthful. There are 3 different passives in the game that double dip this skill, and if you have all 3 of them together, this does stupid damage. So it is a 20% chance to proc. 50% of spell damage dealt comes in the form of ability damage. Finally, I have the Capstone of Graveborn. Whenever I cast a spell, I activate all of my kill skills. Still, let's go ahead and talk about the skills that we wanted to come back to. So Blast Gasp is the big one. Whenever you deal spell damage, now our Hydras, the ones that we're doing specifically, do spell damage. There was a lot of testing that went involved with this. I'm going to link a video that talks about this a little bit more. It was the Hydras in-depth video. Feel free to check that one out. But basically, there are different types of companions that do different types of things. So, for example, my snake stick here, if I melee an enemy and summon a Hydra off of my snake stick, that companion will do and scale off of melee damage. There are different types of Furior pistols that will be named for different things. There's the Fear Not, What Not, No Not, and I forgot the fourth one, but they all do different things. The Fear Not pistols are the only pistols in the game that are Furior that will scale off of spell damage. So that will make all your Hydras do spell damage. Additionally, if you have a Furior shotgun that does not have Magical Blast on the card, if it just does regular damage and it summons a Hydra, that will also be spell damage. If you have the Magical Blast Furior, it does gun damage. It's confusing, I know, but that's just how it scales. So Blast Gasp double dips into 3 different skills in this entire game. It double dips all damage, it double dips global spell damage, and it double dips into, let me find it, the elemental damage that it's doing itself. So on spellcast increase poison damage, if I'm using and casting a spell and it's doing poison damage, that's automatically forcing a double dip right there. Next up on the list is all damage. So I have all damage dealt on my amalgam here. That is forcing double dip right there just by having this equipped. And then there is the global elemental, not specific elemental, but global elemental. On spellcast increase elemental damage by 20%. That's also forcing a double dip right there, which makes it run into the formula 3 different times over, and it hits so damn hard. It's a small explosion, so it's going to be hard to tell with all your Hydras just like shooting enemies a bunch of different times over. But trust me, when you see the big chunks of HP going down, that's when you'll know it's the Blast Gasp taking over. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weapons and our gear. We'll go ahead and show off the build a little bit. So we have our Snake Stick with on spellcast increased dark magic damage, which is going to be all of our dark magic Hydras and dark magic efficiency, which is going to be going and working with our Reaper of Bones. You fully heal yourself, you gain leech efficiency, and you do bonus dark magic damage, which all works with our dark magic skills and gets boosted by the dark magic damage as well. Whenever you would die, you become invulnerable for a short duration and you restore a portion of your HP. When you're no longer invulnerable, the Reaper of Bones ends. It's based on current health percentage and cannot be modified by other sources, but this will be a good temporary dark magic boost for everything that you're doing dark magic-wise. We have our Fragment Reign of the Warlock. Now, this thing has multiple different things that it can spawn with. There's Hydras, there's Explode on Impact. It is, however, the only SMG in the entire game that can roll with Hydra Companion, legendary SMG that can roll with Hydra Companion, and will do spell damage. So if you need an SMG slot, this is the only one that you can choose. The Fear Not pistols we ran over already. Fear Not pistols are the only Furiors with Hydra Companion that can do and scale off of spell damage. So find your Fear Not pistols, choose your element, whatever you would want. I got Poison, and I do on spellcast increase poison damage, which forces that Blast Gasp double dip. This one here is our regular shotgun that summons a Hydra. On spellcast increase fire damage, forces a double dip in fire damage. And finally, I have a liquid cooling just for Fight for My Life. However, I'm planning on switching this one out because it recently got nerfed. So you can choose something like the liquid cooling, the Queen's Cry is decent, the live wire is still a good choice. Whatever you want to fill in slot for your Fight for Your Life. Because if you go and Fight for Your Life, you don't really do a lot of damage unless your Hydras are doing it for you. Now with your gear, you want to choose a gear set that will do not only companion damage, but spell damage at the same time, so that you can mix and match the formula a little bit more to have your Hydras do more damage. So I'm using a companion damage, dark magic efficiency, and companion ring that will help out the companion damage a little bit more than the tree. And while my health is less than 50%, my effects are increased by 50%. So whenever I'm using Reaper of Bones, I'm additionally taking health away from myself to force that 50% to come through. So while I'm doing additional damage when my HP is above 50%, as soon as it drops below 50%, I'm doing another 50% of extra effects on here, which is dark magic efficiency, and my companion health will last a little bit longer. So if I'm in like raid boss fights, it'll make it so that my Mushroom Companion can survive a little bit longer to potentially heal me if I need it. I found this absolutely crazy spell damage ring, and I just needed to have it on this build. Spell damage 15, spell crit chance 15, spell radius 10, and spell crit damage 12.5. I did not find a chaotic or a volatile, but this was just too ridiculous not to find something else. I'm using a Master Rune, which increases my companion damage by 25%, and on spellcast increase global elemental damage, which is a blast gasp double dip right there. I'm using an amalgam because the 5 passives are ridiculous not to choose from, and all 3 skills that it rolls into is too good. Dun crit chance and ability crit chance don't really do anything for me, but the area damage, spell damage, and all damage dealt are the keys that I need on this item here. I'm using Alluring Elemental Blast. I hold to repeat extra cast for 3 casts, and I spawn a Hydra on each one. Because it's casting a spell, I have a chance to proc Dark Hydras to get additional Hydras off of the spell. Additionally, I also use the Devouring Hydra of Intervention. You summon a Hydra Companion that will spawn another one if you damage an enemy that gets killed by a Hydra. This will proc not only on the spell, but on any Hydras that you have. It has a small chance to spawn an additional Hydra when you're damaging a boss, so it's actually really nice for bossing. If it was my choice, I would probably switch to on spellcast increase ability damage, just more blast gasp, just like what I'm using with my Alluring Elemental Blast. But this one here you can do pretty much all content with. I did all raid bosses and Maker with this build already, so it's you definitely don't need to switch out, but that's just by choice. It's nice because it's volatile. And finally, my amulet here is Dark Magic damage and Spore Warden power. It's using Fire Great and Gun Reload speed, which is going to be all Furior. So I'm shooting faster, which empties my bullets faster, and I'm reloading my guns faster, which means I can just constantly throw my guns, throw my guns, throw my guns. Whenever I score a crit, my companion crit chance goes to 80% for 6 seconds. Whenever my companions score a crit, I get a critical damage by 30% for 6 seconds. I basically just use this so I can get my companions' crits through the roof. Because if they're all hitting something, they're all critting, they're going to do stupid damage off of that. So that is the skill run over. That is the gear and weapon run over. Let's go ahead and give this a little tester so I can show you what it does. I have yet to do the featured run. Let's go ahead and give this a whirl. Your goal with the build is to get as many Hydras out as possible. So you're going to be shooting your gun, reloading right away, shooting your gun, reloading right away, spawning Hydras with your spells, that sort of thing. And as you can see, enemies are just milking already. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't know if my shoulder's in the way or not, but this is on C20, by the way. I wanted to make sure that this build was viable on all pieces of content on max level, just to make it perfect. The longest fight that it took me to have was the Maker, because I'm using very minimal glitches on this build. The Maker did take a little bit. But the Maker's attacks are very predictable, so it wasn't like a hard fight. And there's an encounter complete. You don't really have to aim with this build at all. So if you have aim like me, it doesn't really matter. You just shoot your gun, throw it wherever. I just will kind of pick off enemies by themselves, especially since this one has 3 heads. So it'll get 3 different attacks. Now, a common myth is that 3-headed Hydras count as 3 different companions. That's just simply not true. It is 1 companion that does 3 different attacks. So still really, really good, just not Faithful Thrall's broken good. Down to my own fire damage there. Mushroom's reviving me. We'll just throw more Hydras over there to get up myself. Sometimes Mushroom Companion can be a little ridiculous and not heal you. like right now, for example. So I talked about the mushroom glitch earlier in the video. The way that you can tell that you get the glitch is whenever you progress through Chaos Chambers. If you notice that your Faithful Thrall stacks, which is in the bottom underneath your HP or your XP bar, sorry, you'll notice that it'll be higher than 2 as soon as you start the round. You can also see Mushroom Companions like in the middle of nowhere just spawned around. I know I don't have it right now because I saw my companion stacks go down to 2, and I don't see any Mushroom Companions anywhere. So this is a completely glitchless run right now.
These skills are the inks with which I scribe my name in legend.
Yeah, I have a Mushroom Companion dead, and I only have 1 Faithful Thrall stacked right now. So it is not glitched up.
You promise to behave this time, yes? Still standing.
I'm gonna go ahead and meet you guys at a boss just to show you what it does with a boss. I've shown you the mobbing section already, so I will see you once I get to the end of this Chaos Chamber when we do a boss. And welcome on back. We're going to go ahead and fight the Banshee, just to show you what this build does versus bosses. So this is the featured run Banshee. Usually what you want to do with Banshee is it's a direction kind of boss. So you want to have certain areas that you want to be in throughout this entire time. Throwing Hydras right beside Banshee will do a lot of damage while she does this stupid attack. You can duck under the top ones, and you can jump over her bottom ones. Kind of play jump rope with her a little bit. When she moves away from here, and she'll move away right away, you want to go into the purple mist. Inside the purple mist, you will not be attacked by her spell. You can use the trees for coverage. Whenever she does her silly thing over there. From behind the tree, I didn't do a very good example there. You can throw your Hydras onto the boss and be completely fine. This was not a optimal display, but it was still a victory nonetheless. Got her down in one phase at least, so that was nice. And she drops us a bad egg and a frying pan, neither of which are dedicated drops. I think that's going to do it for the build. Feel free to check out the backpack as well. There's a bunch of things that you can play around with in here. Got ourselves the Gluttony, the Perceiver, the Peak. Got a bunch of different items that you can try and throw on. I put on a bunch of different rings as well. Fear Knots, threw on different amulets, threw on different Hydra spells. Feel free to check it out. My name is Beefline, and I'm signing on out here. Take care, all. Laters.